It's time to talk fantasy football. It's time to let them know. Where you let us crunch the numbers while you crush the competition. So grab your playbooks and crack a cold one, because here's your hosts, Teak and Baney.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode with the boys. Super Wildcard Weekend is officially in the books. I enjoyed it up until Monday. I'm sure Baney next to me here can agree. Both our teams got bounced.
Yeah, I didn't know if I was watching the Red Wedding or if I was watching the Eagles offense. Both very on par.
Yeah, that's tough losses, especially I pain for you because you guys started out 10-1.
Yep.
And then I don't know what happened from there. I don't know if you do or not, but I feel my condolences.
Yeah, dude. Philly everywhere is just rooting for Sirianni's head on a spike at this point. What a plot twist in the last couple of seasons, man. Go from a Super Bowl to just completely unrecognizable team. Defense, terrible. Offense, starting to follow suit at the end of the year. How you start the season with 10-1 and only get 11 wins and then get bounced. Oh, man. I said it all week. I didn't understand how Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay opened up plus money underdogs at home against this Eagles team. Eagles never deserve to be favorited. So, oh, man.
Well, good news is you guys got a lot of talent, so you guys will be back. So we did the Super Wildcard Weekend picks. We're going to kick it off and start before we jump into DFS. We're going to give you our divisional round picks here. So, Baney, let's start it off here. Texans at Ravens.
Texans at Ravens, man. I'm telling you right now, I don't think I am going to fade the Ravens. I said at the beginning of the year, it's going to be Ravens 49ers Super Bowl. I think the Ravens take care of business. I know Lamar only has one playoff win. CJ Stroud got his first in his debut, but I think the Texans were fun. It was exciting, but it's time to put it to bed. I think Dad's home. I think the Ravens are going to handle business.
Yes. So, Baney, I'm sure you know what I'm going to do here. I'm going bold. I'm sticking it with these fired up young kids, talent, rookie coach, rookie quarterback. I think they're going to get it done. They got a tough test, though. Lamar, I'm banging on 2 weeks off. He's going to come out a little rusty. These young group, they're fired up. They got to start the game off hot, though. They can't go in a hole. So they're going to come up. They're going to jump up 14-0, and then they're going to take it. They're going to end up winning by a field goal. My pick.
I like it. I don't fade you. I don't hate it. I just I hope it's fireworks, man. I hope it's a great game.
I am excited for this. I'm rooting for the Texans from here on. I want to see them in the bowl. But Baney, we'll let you kick off the next one. Packers at Niners.
Again, rock and chalk. 49ers going to handle business. Jordan Love, it's been cute. It's been fun. Him and Stroud had almost identical playoff debut numbers. But that being said, 49ers going to handle business. It's going to be a CMC show, I think. So I think that's an easy choice.
Oh, yeah. I got to go Niners as well. Love, Green Bay, you guys surprised me playing hot. I do think this game is going to be closer than what people think. However, CMC is going to be fresh. This guy's going to have a field day. I'm going Niners as well. So keeping it simple. Nothing crazy going to happen there. At home, they 11 out of 12 wins. They've been by double digits. So, again, I think this one's going to be closer, but Niners. Baney, jumping in to Tampa at Detroit. Who you got?
Oh, man. This is probably my favorite game. I don't think anybody would have guessed it, Tampa and Detroit, but I love what I see out of Detroit, man. I think the Lions handle business. I think they put on a show. Those fans have been starved of performances like this, specifically playoffs at home. They said the last playoff win for Detroit was the first one since the text message has been invented. So they're excited. They're fired up. Dan Campbell has them playing right. Goff's going to handle business. Like I said, Lions, give me the Lions.
Oh yeah, I'm on the same page with you there. I'm rooting for them hard too. I wouldn't mind seeing a Houston Detroit Super Bowl. That'd be kind of fun. But they showed, I don't know if you saw it, when they're in victory formation, they showed a long time season ticket holder, older guy. They showed him just cheering. I felt so happy for them, that whole team finally getting something done. I give the Bucks a lot of credit though, even though I'm picking the Lions. They surprised me how good they've been playing. Lot of firepower. Baker shocked us all, I think. Um, I just think the Lions, it's going to be too much for them to hang into with. Lions run defense is stout. That means Baker's going to have to throw. Um, and I'm taking Goff against Baker any day in a shootout. So I'm taking the Lions as well.
Nice.
So jumping in, we're going to do a little bit like we did last time. We got a lot of good feedback from it. We're going to jump in.
Badge, you left off probably the biggest game of the weekend.
Oh, I did. Seeing if you're on your toes.
My man is so upset that they knocked out the Steelers that he wasn't going to talk about them in this segment. Oh my!
Oh,
well, that
man.
being said, Badge, I'm gonna take the Bills. I think Josh Allen rolls into town, puts the team on his back, and handles business. That being said, I think it's going to be a shootout. I think we're going to have a historic game. I just think the hot team is going to win right now. Kansas City's had a lot of issues as of late. Buffalo has been probably the hottest team in football for the last 5-6 weeks of the season. They've basically been playing in the playoffs for the last 5 weeks, fighting for their berth in the playoff, and then they ended up getting the division on the last game of the season because the Dolphins didn't handle business. So I think, I'm not saying Bills to the Super Bowl, but I'm saying Bills handle business this week. That being said, you're talking fun little Super Bowl matchups, man. What if we get the Bills and the Lions in the Super Bowl?
That'd be a nice matchup.
Wild.
Yeah.
That'd be a wild game,
nice.
but who are you taking?
So sorry for jumping ahead, guys. Yeah, it wasn't a grudge. I was just excited to help make you guys some money. But I got to go the Bills as well. We're on the same page. What stands out to me, I mean, this Chiefs in the red zone, they have not been the same. They're having a tough time in the red zone. Josh Allen and the Bills, Bainey mentioned, they're super hot. Mistake-free Allen, it's tough to compete, especially these runs. I mean, the guy lowers his shoulder, gets up, flexes. I keep waiting for him to get up slow. He doesn't. Bills are going to stay hot. They're going to take this game.
Perfect.
Sorry for jumping ahead, but we'll get into the DFS. So we got a position to avoid. I believe Bainey's doing DraftKings.
Yeah, yep. I keep mine on DraftKings. Then you have yours on FanDuel. Just a nice little differential in prices, different value on different formats, whatever you guys are into.
Yeah, so we're going to do our targets and who we're going to avoid and show you the values and explain why. So, Bainey, why don't you get it kicked off on telling us on DraftKings who you're going to target and avoid at quarterback?
Yeah, so at quarterback, guys, I think it's really simple this week. I think Goff is the play. Goff is priced right in the middle, right at 6,300. I think he gives you a great opportunity to stack in Detroit's offense, but also I want access to these games that are not outdoors. These outdoor games. I mean, we see, if you spend some time with intern Jeff in our last episode, we got to talk about the weather and how it really affects these games and the outcomes. And yeah, I just really like what I'm seeing, that firepower in that offense. I've been big on them all season. Like I said, $6,300 really allows you to stack. Great value, high-powered offense. If you paid attention to the Eagles-Tampa Bay game, the difference in this is going to be the offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson. He's going to be able to scheme up. He's going to be able to get them out of trouble. Eagles couldn't do that to save their life. Play calling's been a big issue. And the Eagles were able to capitalize downfield with Devontae Smith. I think you're going to see a lot of that with Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think they're going to stretch the field. I think there's going to be a lot of value in this Lions offense. That being said, probably not a super popular opinion just because his price is pretty decent. But Jordan Love at 6,200, I'm choosing to fade him. That's just a horrible matchup for him going up against one of the best defenses, best teams in football. So I'm not going to give a huge breakdown on that. I just think matchup-wise, it's just a nightmare. And yeah, even though he's priced middle of the pack, I think if you value the QB a little less than these running backs, maybe go with Baker. I think that game's going to be a shootout. Maybe you can get Baker in I think he's like 5,800. So I think that's better value. I think Love, that's just gambling too much for me. So Badge, what do you got?
So going to the FanDuel side of things, my target quarterback, I'm on the same page as Baney. But first, before I get in that, not going to lie, I was eyeing Baker just because he's going to have to throw. He's $7,300 on FanDuel. However, only $300 more at $7,600. You can get Jared Goff. So I'm going that route. I'm taking Jared Goff, FanDuel, $7,600. This Lions offense has been on an absolute roll. So many weapons. I mean, from tight end to running back, you name it. Tampa Bay's defense have been allowing 20 fantasy points to quarterbacks. They're indoors. There's no weather, no intern Jeff there advising against a snowstorm. I feel like Goff is a great value at this price, so I'm going to target Jared Goff on FanDuel.
Nice.
Quarterback to avoid. So I mentioned in our picks earlier the Texans. Like I said, that was my bold prediction. However, I got to play the matchup. There's only minimal games to choose from. I got to avoid C.J. Stroud. As much as I'm rooting for you, I got to avoid you. He's priced at $7,200. Not a bad price, but just the weapons. I hate to do it. Like I said, I'm rooting hard for this young kid. Baltimore has been allowing the second least fantasy points to quarterbacks. They got some rest. Could be rust, but they got some rest. Baltimore's going to be scheming this defense to confuse this young kid. I mean, he hasn't seen a defense like this. Rested, fired up. I hope he blows up. I hope I'm wrong, but just matchup based, I got to avoid him. So, Baney, why don't you get us kicked off on the running backs?
So I think it's as simple as this. We're going to rock chalk this week, boys. Christian McCaffrey, absolutely fire him up. 49ers are going to put on a show. I think his usage rate throughout the entire season has been through the roof, and that's not going to change now that it's playoffs. They're rested. I think the path of victory goes right through McCaffrey. Full PPR setup on DraftKings compared to the half PPR on FanDuel. I think it is totally worth paying the $8,800 that he is. That being said, you're going to have to find, some low end value somewhere else. But it's possible. These matchups this week, it's very possible. Buffalo has very, very low priced wide receivers that maybe you can sneak some value with Shakir. But like I said, it's going to cost you sacrifice somewhere else. Maybe you play a defense you don't like. But CMC to the moon, man. 8,800. He's probably going to be the most expensive player on your roster, but the value, it's going to pay for itself. So CMC, that's my absolute. And for my fade is a running back I actually really, really like, but it's James Cook. He is priced at 6,300, about middle of the road. But my issue with him in this offense is they're so stingy about how they use him. He had massive games this year where he had big roles in the receiving game. However, they just have games where they don't target him at all. And yeah, full PPR, full value. I think that there are better running backs elsewhere that are going to touch the ball a ton, specifically Aaron Jones. The last 4 weeks of the season, he touched the ball 17 to 20 times a game, 3 straight games over 100, and you saw the massacre that he just gave Dallas this week. I had Aaron Jones. I had exposure to him in every single DFS lineup I had and underdog. So I big fan of that just simply on usage. But for this purpose, CMC is the way to go. Absolutely. And then James Cook, I just can't figure out what his role is in this offense. So great player, great talent. Just wish they'd utilize him more in the pass game.
Perfect. So back to FanDuel. CMC is sitting at $10,800. I am breaking the bank on him with a smile on my face. $10,800. That's $2,400 more than the next highest running back. So you're paying for him, and I think he's worth it. So here's why: coming off of 2 weeks of rest, he's going to be an absolute workhorse this week. I mean, he's going to score. I'm saying he's going to score 3. He's going to be the top scorer in the recap. Green Bay's defense against normal running backs allows 16 plus points. This guy's not human, so I would even double that. So I think he's going to be totally worth the price of admission. I'm breaking the bank, going cheaper elsewhere. I'm spending the money on your CMC, so don't let me down. Running back to avoid, Baney, it's funny you mentioned that. James Cook, I got a running back that I really like too, but I just don't like his matchup, and that's Rashad White against the Lions. Great price. He's sitting at $6,700. Again, though, I hate this matchup. Lions allow the second least amount of points to opposing running backs. Again, there's not many games to choose from, but if you can avoid him, that's where I'm going. I'm going all matchup. So we'll get it kicked off. Back to Baney. Got something?
No, I like that. I like that a lot. Rashad White, the player, is absolutely great. However, DFS is we're trying to find the most value where we can get it, and right now, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be there for him. I think it's going to be going through the wide receivers this week for Tampa. So speaking of wide receivers, I love Rashee Rice. I think Rashee Rice can have a great game. I think Buffalo lost a handful of talent, and if they didn't lose them, they're significantly hindered. They had a ton of injuries at linebacker. I know the safety. I know Hyde was hobbling at one point. But that being said, Rashee Rice, I am paying the $6,800, and I am more than happy to do so. I really, it just comes down to he is really a wide receiver one that has just flourished in these last few weeks, and Mahomes is finally trusting him. He's peppering him with the ball. He led the league in yak this year, and he only started half the season. He only had 8 starts and still almost managed a 1,000-yard season. Just really impressive player. And yeah, I expect this game to be a shootout. I really do. And if that's the case, then I want the guy who's going to be sprinting down the field making plays. I don't necessarily love what we've seen out of Kelsey these last few weeks specifically. So when they're both priced about the same, I think I'm going to take the higher ceiling play. But I wouldn't knock you if you still, try to do a Kansas City stack this week. But I want access to Rashee Rice over anybody else in that offense right now. And going on the other side of that game, I'm choosing to fade Stephon Diggs, man. I haven't really been big on Diggs. He had a handful, I think like 5 or 6 wide receiver 50 finishes in regular fantasy during the season at the end of the year. And he has like a career average coming into last week of like 55 yards receiving a game with no touchdowns. With big plays coming from Shakir and I think it's Hasty. Is that the other receiver or is it Hardy? I don't know. They have 2 guys that play in the slot that are basically interchangeable, great value, big boom plays. That touchdown that Shakir had was unreal. I don't know how he didn't go down on it, but when you're getting big plays from weapons outside of Diggs, that's something this Bills offense has never really had. So he's priced at $7,000, man. There's just value elsewhere. So if you're going to try to stack, CMC, some of these 49ers players, some of these other Chiefs players, I just think Diggs' price point doesn't let you do it, and I think that other players could potentially have a higher ceiling than him this week. So Diggs, Rice, tail of the tape for this Bills and Chiefs game, but I'm choosing to stay away from Diggs.
Yeah, that's good points. Like you said, I mean, Diggs hasn't been putting up these huge numbers like we're used to. I'm grabbing a Shakir myself. So at that price, we all saw what he can do. I think he's going to get the ball more and up his targets. Back to the FanDuel side, my target wide receiver, I'm going Chris Godwin at Detroit for $6,900. Cheap route, like I said. I'm blowing the house on McCaffrey. So this cheap route, I mean, Lions pass and run defense, that's night and day. I mean, the pass, they're top tier. The run, they're top tier. I believe Baker's going to be able to throw the ball. He's going to have to throw the ball. Godwin's cheap. Lions defense averages giving up 25 fantasy points to wide receivers. That's why I'm not going to Evans. I'm taking a cheaper route because, again, I'm blowing my wad on CMC. Baker's going to throw. So player to avoid. Again, I hope I'm wrong, but I have to go with the matchup. I got to avoid Nico Collins on FanDuel against Baltimore. He's $8,700. He's $8,700. That's the second most expensive wide receiver on FanDuel. I hope he blows up. I'll be rooting hard for the kid. However, I mentioned again, I'm putting that house on CMC. So, Nico, I wish you the best. Hope you go out and do your thing. I got to sit you this week.
Can't believe you're fading your boy. I can't believe it. Against all odds, man. You rode with them all year.
Kills me. That's why I said bold prediction. I'm picking him to win. But against the matchup, I don't know. If he was cheaper, it's second most expensive wide receiver. So I can't afford him if I'm going CMC.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. You got to be smart with your dollars. Whatever's left over, you got to try to get some value at a lower end. Try to balance out that lineup for sure. I definitely agree with you.
And then let's take us to the tight ends.
Yeah.
The hardest position this year.
Isn't that the truth? That being said, why don't we make it simple? Why don't we just take the tight end one on the season?
Yep.
I have to say my apologies. I didn't realize that Mr. Laporta had that dog in him. I didn't think he was going to play. I didn't think there was a single chance he was going to play last week. I was advising everyone take, maybe Brock Wright, the backup tight end, or, somewhere else, try to get some lower end value with him not playing. However, he suits up, has a touchdown, looks pretty darn good. So if that's him not at 100%, I'd still say he's probably still one of the best tight ends to play this week. He's only priced at $5,900 on DraftKings. He's still the second highest priced tight end behind Kelsey, but $5,900, that's a small price to pay. I mean, I think you can definitely get away with a good Lions stack this week between Goff, Laporta, sprinkle in Amon-Ra, or if you want to try to get, Montgomery, Gibbs, however you're feeling, you can get up to 4 players specifically from a single team. So if you want to try to touch on every single position for this Lions offense, go for it. This team is electric. Campbell has them going. I really like Laporta. Even if he's not at 100%, I'm not making the same mistake I made last week. I'm firing up Laporta. And for that, the fade is going to hurt because they're very low priced and you can probably sneak some value out of them if you needed to. However, horrendous matchup, and that is the Packers tight ends. Luke Musgrave, 3,600, and Tucker Kraft at 3,100. Tucker Kraft has been a really nice DFS play the last few weeks of the season, being priced so low and still having the target share in that offense. That being said, this matchup couldn't be worse for these guys. I want no part of it. It looks like Christian Watson's getting ramped back up. He played a little bit last week. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't foresee a way of getting really any value out of those two tight ends. I understand it's going to be a negative game script. They're probably going to throw the ball a ton. However, San Francisco's linebackers are no joke. So bad matchup for those two guys. And, yeah, even at that price valuation, I'm still going to choose to fade them this week.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. Loved your target on Sam Laporta because he's mine as well. So, yeah, Sam Laporta, $6,600 on FanDuel. I'm actually pairing him with Goff, so I want that connection right there. Beatty mentioned maybe doing a Lions stack. Don't sleep on Reynolds too. He's probably super cheap and he has that big playability. So that being said, Laporta, we all know what a big impact this kid's been on this offense. I'm expecting another big day, a touchdown. I love the indoor matchup as well. I think they're going to be slinging the rock. I'm doing Laporta, $6,600. He's the second highest tight end as well on FanDuel. Jumping in, the highest tight end on FanDuel is Kelsey at $7,100. I'm fading him. Beatty mentioned it. He just doesn't look the same. He's not getting his yak, not doing these middle of the field. He's just wide open and runs 30, 40 yards down the field. I don't know what Taylor Swift did to this guy. But maybe she's not feeding him right. I don't know. But he's a tough matchup. The Bills are allowing 4 points to tight ends. Too expensive. I'm going to go Sam Laporta all day. They're going to scheme to lock him up. I feel it's going to be a Rashee Rice day, like you mentioned. So I'm going to go a little cheaper, take Laporta at 6,600.
Yeah, and FanDuel's half PPR, so I mean, it seems to be a lot of underneath stuff going to Kelsey. You're not really going to eat the points like you would on DraftKings. I think he had 7 catches last week. That just doesn't give you what his price is evaluated at on FanDuel, I don't think. FanDuel's tough. I tend to go running back heavy when I play FanDuel just for that PPR aspect. But yeah, the pricing evaluations on these guys on different sites is just crazy. Like I said, that's why we've been doing this, to give different people who do use different platforms, different things to look at here. And I think there's a lot of value in this. I think I've enjoyed it. It's getting tricky. There's fewer games to pick from now. You got to make it work. Some of these team captain lineups are interesting with these matchups, and it's been a lot of fun, man. I don't want football to end though, unfortunately. And I'm just glad I don't have to watch this Eagles offense or defense this week.
Yeah. At least we don't have to stress anymore. So now we can just enjoy it from here on out. So, yeah, guys, we hope we helped you a lot. He does DraftKings, I do FanDuel, so hopefully you guys can mix and match again. I might be doing a little indoor stack, like you mentioned, with the Lions and the Bucks. So
it's great value in that.
Yeah, for sure. So going with the intern, no weather. So Baney, why don't you break us down and send the boys out? We got a few more weeks left, so.
Yeah. Before we hit the outro officially, just want to say there's been the last few weeks. It's been scattered. There's been 2 of us on the screen, or whether it's been Teak and Badge or me and Badge. Just been a lot of scheduling issues, and the weather's not helping today. And unfortunately, TK is out. But we're gonna get the 3 of us together on the screen again. We're gonna be rolling, and Teak's gonna be adding his input in this, and yeah, I just can't wait to get all the boys together, It'll be a good time. That being said, he's excited. I've been texting him about getting Belichick on board with the Dirty Birds. He's all over the place with that. So I'm still going to keep at him about getting Justin Fields down there in Atlanta, hopefully make his head spin a little bit. But that being said, guys, please hit the subscribe button, man. Hit that thing, make the bell go ding. What that does is drops notifications for you, and we're dropping episodes. You can be the first ones in there and try to get as much value out of that as possible. These episodes, we try to keep them around 30 minutes. So if you're watching us on your lunch break, appreciate you boys more than you know. We love doing this. We love interacting with you guys. The comment section these last few episodes have been on fire. Hit us in the Discord too. We have that link in all the videos. We drop DFS plays. I drop player props. Badge keeps track of all of his fire bets that have been hitting at a high rate throughout the entire season. It hasn't stopped now that the playoffs are here. So that being said, boys, we're going to send it out. We're going to hit the road. We're going to make you some money this week, and we hope to hear from you guys. So best of luck on everything you got going on. Badge, you got anything else to say before we play the music?
Yeah, utilize that comment section too. Comment your favorite starts. Comment your favorite props. We want to hear you. We want to see it. Maybe we'll throw one in together.
That'd be sick, dude. Get a fan interactive one.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, if you think we missed one, like if you see some value that we might have not talked about in the show, drop it in the comments. Let's get a conversation going. We'd love to interact with you guys and get that rolling. Yeah, dude, there's value to be found. And I know I love it. I love it. This grind, I stay up a little too late some nights getting into it, but it's worth it. It's so much fun. Like I said, I don't want football to end. So,
and also follow Baney too on TikTok, because he goes live every football morning now, Sunday. I think
a couple hours before kickoff on Sunday specifically. We've been doing that. Some of these Saturday games, it gets a little interesting, but yeah, every Sunday, a couple hours before kickoff, we're getting live. Start, sits, player props. We fire that up. It's been a good time these last few weeks getting after it. So it's been a good time, boys. Appreciate everybody stopping in, hanging out with the boys, spending your time with us. Like I said, if you're at work and, we're just helping you pass the time by, we appreciate you more than you know. Please hit the subscribe button. Stay in touch with the boys.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Let 'Em Know Fantasy Football Podcast. Join our community and follow us on all socials, or keep up with the episodes on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts.